Rapunzel, A Tale of Independence, Awkwardness, Jazzercising. Once upon a time, in a kingdom not so far away, there was a young woman named Rapunzel. But this was not your typical princess. Rapunzel was strong, witty, and fiercely independent. She had been locked away in a tower for years, but not because she couldn't escape. She just found the whole situation more amusing than problematic. Her so-called captor, a woman who preferred to be called Mommy Dearest, was an eccentric ex-beauty queen stuck in the glitz and glamour of the 1980s. Mommy Dearest was obsessed with two things: her own beauty and staying fit through an endless stream of Jane Fonda workout tapes. The tower's walls were plastered with posters of neon-clad aerobic instructors, and every corner was littered with leg warmers, scrunchies, and oversized sunglasses. Mommy Dearest wasn't your typical evil witch. Sure, she locked Rapunzel in the tower to keep her safe and away from anyone who might have better hair than her, but she spent more time perfecting her bubblegum pink lipstick and hammer pants-clad dance moves than paying attention to her prisoner. In fact, Rapunzel could leave any time she wanted. The tower had no locked doors, and her magical hair, flowing like golden rivers, could be coiled into a rope that even a mountain goat would envy. But why would she leave? She had a great view, a solid workout regimen, thanks to Mommy Dearest's obsession with jazzercise, and the occasional entertainment of watching her mother attempt complicated dance moves in outfits that looked like a cross between a parachute and a neon sign. One fine day, as Rapunzel was doing her own workout, a much more efficient routine, mind you, she heard a strange sound from below the tower. She leaned out of the window, hair cascading down in the breeze, to see the most unexpected sight. A young prince, decked out in armor that was just a bit too shiny and polished, was standing below her window. But what caught Rapunzel's eye wasn't the prince. No, it was his steed. The prince, who we'll call Prince Clumsington, was perched atop a donkey that had the confidence of a prize-winning stallion. The donkey, with its head held high and a spark in its eyes, pranced in place as if it were the finest horse in all the land. "Fair maiden," Prince Clumsington called up with dramatic flair, "I have come to rescue you from your terrible tower. Fear not, for I, Prince Clumsington, am here." Rapunzel raised an eyebrow. "Rescue me?" she muttered to herself. "Oh, this should be good." The prince took a deep breath, clearly mustering his courage, and attempted to climb the tower wall using some vines. Unfortunately, Prince Clumsington was not exactly the most coordinated individual. He tripped over his cape, fumbled with his sword, and tangled himself in the vines, eventually hanging upside down, helplessly flailing like a piñata. "Fair maiden, help! I seem to be in a bit of a bind," he squeaked, still trying to sound heroic despite being upside down. Rapunzel sighed, but her lips curled into a smile. "All right, I guess this is my cue." With ease, she tossed her long golden hair out of the window. "Hold on tight, Prince." Prince Clumsington, confused but relieved, grabbed onto her hair. With a single strong tug, Rapunzel hoisted the prince all the way up into the tower window. He tumbled in with a loud crash, his armor clanging against the stone floor. His helmet spun around on his head, leaving him momentarily blind. "I'm all right, totally fine," he exclaimed, awkwardly trying to regain his composure. Rapunzel couldn't help but laugh. "You were supposed to rescue me, huh?" The prince finally removed his helmet, revealing a boyish, goofy grin. Yeah. Well, I had a plan. Sort of," he stammered, brushing the dust off his cape. Before their banter could continue, there was a sudden burst of neon-colored energy from the far end of the tower. It was Mommy Dearest, strutting into the room with her boombox blasting a 1980s synth-pop beat. "Rapunzel, darling, it's time for our afternoon workout. We're doing jazzercise cardio blast today," she said in a voice that could only be described as half valley girl, half witch. She didn't even notice the prince, who was now staring wide-eyed at the woman who looked like she had just stepped out of a workout video. Mommy Dearest adjusted her rainbow visor, tightened her leg warmers, and tossed her hammer pants to one side, revealing a pink leotard underneath. "Who's this guy?" she asked absent-mindedly, applying another layer of lip gloss. Rapunzel shrugged. "Just some prince. He thought I needed rescuing." Mommy Dearest glanced at the prince, her eyes narrowing for a second. "Well, if he's here to mess up my workout schedule, he better get lost. Can't have anyone interrupting my leg lifts. Besides, the 4 p.m. perm is coming up," she said with a flip of her crimped hair. Prince Clumsington, still somewhat dazed by the whirlwind of neon colours and spandex, slowly rose to his feet. Right. I'll just see myself out then." But Rapunzel was already gathering her things, ready to leave. She turned to the prince with a confident smile. "Come on, clumsy prince. I think it's time we get out of here." Before Prince Clumsington could respond, Rapunzel grabbed his hand, and with a quick twist of her wrist, she tied her hair into a sturdy braid. With that, the two slid down the side of the tower, landing gracefully at the bottom. "Did you just—" "Yep," Rapunzel replied, already walking toward the donkey, who was still prancing like a show horse. Prince Clumsington clumsily followed, still trying to process what had just happened. He mounted the donkey, who of course looked as though he were ready to charge into battle, and Rapunzel hopped on behind him. The prince, flustered but impressed, handed her the reins. "You can drive," he said sheepishly. "You're clearly better at it." With a laugh, Rapunzel took the reins, and the two of them, awkward prince, strong princess, and their overly confident donkey, rode off into the sunset together. As they galloped away, they could faintly hear Mommy Dearest shouting from the tower, "Don't forget your leg warmers, darling, and remember, hydration is key to maintaining a youthful glow." The two burst into laughter as they rode through the fields, leaving the tower, the neon madness, and Mommy Dearest far behind.